Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to all of you joining here at FAO headquarters and connecting from every corner of the globe. A warm welcome to the World Food Forum National Chapters main stage session. So my name is Victor Mugomwiru. And
I'm Ose Ehieneta Aragan. We will be moderating tonight's panel. Let's give it up for the panel. Are you guys excited? Today, we are thrilled to shine light on how local youth engagement, empowerment, and leadership can drive real and sustained change in agri-food systems locally and collectively across the globe.
I agree, Ose, and that's why our theme today, inspiring local youth leadership in agri-food systems transformation, couldn't be more timely. Agri-food systems worldwide face very many pressing challenges, including climate change, food security, unequal access to resources. I mean, the list is endless. But the solutions to these challenges often lie in very local, in very context-specific actions, and that's why empowering young people at the local level is very crucial.
Exactly. Empowering youth at the local level does not only bring inclusive and equitable outcomes, it also leads to impactful interventions. Through this empowerment, the solution to agri-food system challenges build on the priorities, the knowledge, and the aspirations of the young people who live them every day and already know them best.
Amazing, and that's why in today's session, you'll hear from young leaders who are transforming their communities, their cities, their countries through World Food Forum National Chapters. But as well, we'll also be hearing from FAO representatives, from decentralized offices. We'll also be hearing from policymakers, as well as experts who support these national youth agri-food platforms. So through these stories, through these insights, we'll see how we can all be part of this process of redesigning and redefining our agri-food systems from the ground up.
I cannot wait. And to kick this off, it's time for us to start the session. Let's begin by welcoming a very special guest for opening remarks. His Excellency Yoten Puncho, the Minister of Agriculture and Forestries for the Kingdom of Bhutan.
Minister Puncho has been a champion of young people and youth engagement in Bhutan's very unique agri-food sector. So recently, he officiated the launch of the World Food Forum National Chapter in Bhutan. Honorable Minister, we're so glad to have you in this session. The floor is all yours.
Sorry. Is it audible? My dear young friends, good evening. I hope I'm not standing between you and the refreshing rest that all of you deserve after a very hectic and so let me again repeat. So I hope I'm not standing between you and restful rest that you all deserve after a very hectic day full of activities. So I stand here with the conviction that you, my young friends, are full of energy and enthusiasm. Therefore, please bear with me for next few minutes. I promise I'm not going to give you a long lecture, but I do want to speak and appreciate for the great work that all of you are doing in your community, in your country, and in your parts of the region of the world, for you, for your community, and for all of us. So as I stand here, I bring the warm greetings and appreciation from the youth of Bhutan who are attending the forum here with me, as well as those of our young friends back home in Bhutan. And I stand with you in admiration for the incredible work that each one of you are doing in terms of transforming the agri-food sector. Therefore, I want to take a moment to express my sincere admiration to each one of you for the work that you are doing to transform the world and revolutionize the agri-food sector through science, innovation, and technology. When I was your age, things were different. I wasn't blessed with the technology and access to information that you have today. In fact, I went to the school at the age of 12. And it wasn't until I was 20 years old that I saw the computer for the very first time. So for many of us back then, the world was much smaller, with fewer opportunities to connect, to learn, and to bring about changes at a global scale. But look at you. Each one of you carries within you the incredible potential to shape, reshape the future. You are living in the world where technology is at your fingertips, where information is abundant, and where the tools to solve the problems that our world is facing. You are truly blessed with the opportunities, and people of my generation, we were not so lucky as you all are. And also the people, more specifically, people from my region of the world were not as lucky as you are. And because of that, I'm amazed with what you have already achieved and what you are doing. You are harnessing the power of science and technology to make our food systems more sustainable, more equitable, and more efficient. You are not just thinking about feeding the world today. You are creating a world that can feed the future generations. My dear young friends, if there's one thing I have learned, that is the only thing or the only limit is the one that you set for yourself. And for you, my young friends, the sky is truly the limit. With your passion, your creativity, and incredible tools that you have at your disposal, you have the power to bring about the real and lasting impact. I didn't have the opportunities that you have today, but I'm truly amazed by what you are accomplishing. You inspire me, and I believe in your potential to change the world in ways we can't yet imagine. By the way, I'm 43 years old, and I come from one of the remotest part of Bhutan. Back then, when I was studying, we had to work for 2 days just to reach the nearest road point. The life was too hard and harsh, and I wasn't as blessed as you all are. And by the way, I'm not complaining, but I'm mentioning all of this as a matter of fact. So today, when I'm in this position to be able to bring about changes, make changes, I am giving my best, and I will continue to do so, because I believe I owe this to our younger generations, to my children, and for our future generations. My advice to our young friends is don't hold back. Push boundaries, keep innovating. The world is watching, and we need your ideas, your energy, and your determination now more than ever. You are the generation with the power to turn the tide. You bring energy, innovation, and passion. You see the possibilities, where others see barriers. You are leading the way, embracing the technology, championing sustainability, and reimagining farming and healing our ecosystems. Thank you for doing that. But beyond all this, it is your courage and empathy that inspire me the most. You face the enormous challenges of climate change, hunger, and inequality head-on. You step forward with deep desire to create a better world, not just for yourself, but for the world. It is my sincere belief that transforming agri-food system isn't just about increasing the yields. It is about building communities. It is about ensuring food security for all and giving everyone, from farmers to entrepreneurs to youth, a voice in our shared future. The seeds of change are already in your hands, whether through new technologies, sustainable farming, or everyday choices. You are planting the seeds for a more just and sustainable future. But you are not alone in this journey. The world must invest in you, trust you, and support your efforts. Older generations must stand by your side as mentors and champions. Therefore, today, through this platform, I would like to call upon the leaders of the world, the governments, businesses, and civil society to join hands with our youth. Let us create an enabling condition where the ideas of our young friends flourish and transform the agri-food systems into a beacon of hope. To you, my dear young friends, do not underestimate the power you hold and the opportunities that you have. You are the architects of our future. So it is in this context, our fourth king, who we refer him respectfully as the Great Fourth, said, I quote, "The future of nation lies in the hands of our younger generation. It is therefore crucial that they live up to our high expectations and ensure the continued well-being of people and security of nation," unquote. In this regard, I would like to say that future of our world lies in your hands, and it is imperative that each one of you live up to the expectations and deliver a better world. Together, let us rewrite the script for a better tomorrow. It all begins with each one of us, including myself. And I trust you, my young friends, that you will not let yourself or the world down. So with this, I thank the FAO for this opportunity to speak to the youth who are gathered here and around the globe. Thank you, FAO, also for making me feel young at heart through this platform. Thank you so much, and Tashtilak.
Honorable Minister, thank you so much for your remarks. They perfectly set the stage. Indeed, the best place to maximize impact and participation of youth in agri-food systems is at the local level.
Amazing. And while we are speaking about localization, we are very excited that this is not only an approach that we share, it's also a priority for FAO. That is why I'm really looking forward to the next panel where we'll be having and hearing directly from our FAO decentralized offices on their experiences supporting meaningful youth engagement at the local level and also supporting World Food Forum national chapters in their own countries.
Then let's jump right into it. Please help me welcome onto the stage FAO country representatives from Bhutan and Nepal, Ken Shimuzu, Ecuador, Gerta Barreto, and Uganda, Antonio Querido. Over to you, Victor, to moderate the session.
Thank you. Welcome on stage. sir. Amazing. The first question will go to all of us, just to introduce ourselves. There's a lot that has been talked about you, but will you just kindly introduce yourselves to the rest of the congregation here, and just so that they may know you a little better.
Hello, I'm Ken Shimizu. I'm the FAO country representative for Bhutan and Nepal. I've been working in international development with UN agencies, maybe for about more than 26 years, and with FAO 18 years. So, thank you. Very nice to meet you all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Gerda Barreto, FAO representative in Ecuador, 10 years working at FAO, and former FAO representative in Angola, Africa.
Good evening to all of you. My name is Antonio Querido. I am the FAO representative in Uganda. I'm young at heart, with only 6.2 years old young, so I'm glad to be here and also to share with you what we've been doing in Uganda.
Amazing, and I think that will take us right into what we want to discuss today. There's a lot that is going on in these countries, and sometimes it's not very well articulated on the great steps that different decentralized offices are undertaking in terms of moving the needle on youth engagement and empowerment. Maybe we'll start from the left with Antonio to tell us about the different initiatives that are transforming the agri-food systems in Uganda, really supported by the FAO country office.
Thank you again. I think today we're here really to provide a spotlight also on what the youth in Uganda is doing to transform agri-food system, because we believe that you're not only the future, you are the present. So by harnessing your creativity, your potential, we believe that you can do more for the transformation that we truly want to see in agriculture. In Uganda, what we are doing first and foremost is to work on mindset shift for the youth in Uganda to realize that there is a potential in agriculture sector, and for agriculture not to continue to be seen as a punishment, but as opportunities for them to become agripreneurs. So part of mindset shift and is our training for youth to realize not only the possibilities that are there, but as well for them to understand what it takes to create a business in agriculture, what it takes to manage a business, and what it takes to sustain a business in agriculture. So you have all heard that agriculture is a risky business. And if you realize that from the soil to the water to the plants to the pest and disease management, all are science that you need to master in order for you to make money in agriculture. So the work that we do with the youth is to ensure that you understand what it takes to do agriculture as a business. And you must definitely engage to be part of our incubator system for you to get the support. So a series of trainings, but we have seen that what works best, and we have created a program that we call Youth Inspiring Youth, because see is believing, and if you see it from your peers, too often it works better, it works faster. So we have a youth champion in agriculture in Uganda to ensure that we show that it's possible, and through your peers, you realize that it's possible. Challenge that the youth are facing in agriculture is access to land and access to capital. So unless we address these two, we can always tell you that there is opportunities, but you may not realize. One of our programs is to create financial instruments to ensure that the youth in Uganda have better access, and that the financial institution don't see you or don't see Uganda youth as a risky a group. And one work that we do is to ensure that the proposal of our youth is they are bankable, they are credible, and we hold their hands to ensure that they succeed. So it's not just a matter of another project, but it's to work with the youth in Uganda to ensure that we hold their hands for 2-3 years of a number of seasons until we realize that the program is working. We also have done a number of the policy areas because for this change to be effective and long-lasting, enabling environment are of paramount importance. So working with the Ministry of Agriculture, we've been creating and putting in place policies that are friendly to youth in agriculture to ensure that we walk the talk. Because too often the narrative is there, the speech is nice, but you don't find an enabling environment for you to succeed in agriculture. So those are a set of things that we're doing. Of course, we have some level of success. It's not always 100% in terms of success, but we try also to understand where we fail, to see how we better design our intervention and we better support the youth. It's for them to realize that there is money to be made in agriculture. What I say to my young fellows that if you are not making money in agriculture, you should not even be qualified to be called farmers. We will call you a peasant or some other. But for you to be called a farmer, you have to make money in agriculture. And for you to make money in agriculture, you have to understand it. It is a business, and you have to approach it with your creativity, with your energy, making sure that money is there to be made, and for you to help the transformation that we want to see in the agriculture sector.
Thank you so much for that. Quite a number of interventions on policy, on innovation, on entrepreneurship, and ensuring that they walk the talk, and that agriculture is really a business. The same question to you, Ms. Gerda. What are some of the initiatives that are transforming the agri-food system in Ecuador that are also engaging young people very meaningfully?
Yes. Well, in Ecuador, our portfolio are inspired in youth people, Ecuadorian youth people. I remember a part of my country that said that youth are divine treasure. And indeed, for food system transformation, it's not just our treasure, it's our only opportunity we have to transform the food system. Also, today, agriculture really needs creativity, innovation, and determination. And all of this quality is that young people possess in abundance. So we really need to work with you. And in FAO, we have an initiative that is AgroJoven in Spanish, that is part of our global initiative for integrated country approach to boost decent jobs. And why decent jobs? Because right now in Ecuador, 17% of the young people are under employment or without employment or in an informal employment. So we really need to work in decent job. But to do that, it's really we need to work, of course, we work with the government, with communities, with young people, with the private sector together, because we really need to address a structural aspect of this. And one of the most important is the modernization of the rural area. In Ecuador, we need more investment in digitalization, mechanization to really make easy the work at rural area and to really the young people stay there because migration right now is really happening and we need to retain more young people in the areas. For example, for the average age of livestock worker in the country is right now 58 years old. What will happen in Ecuador in 20 years with the milk production we meet without young people? So this is part of this agro-joven work, address this macro level issue for young people, but also we really need to work transforming the financial system to really understand the unique nature of the youth-driving agriculture business. This is really important. If young people doesn't have the guarantee funds that need to unblock the financial potential for them, we are not going to do much more for them. Also, market need the right incentive to expand the opportunity for young people. So we have this aspect at macro level, and also AgroJoven, of course, is working in capacity development with boot camp and agribusiness. We are working in trying to connect the market for them, establish a relationship with the private sector also, and also we are right now implementing a national level to review the policy with the Ministry of Labor, the Ministry of Agriculture, and many actors. But the most important, I think, right now, we have a platform of 100 young Ecuadorian people that are part of AgroJoven, and I am very glad that 4 of them are here in this room, and they are contributing to implement the 4 FAO for Betters. For example, for better production, we have Fabricio. Fabricio is not here, but Fabricio is his family work in livestock in Ecuador, and he really convinced their family to move to a vanilla organic producer. And right now, he's trying to conquer the France commerce with vanilla. We have here also in better nutrition, we have here Rebecca. Rebecca is from Guayaquil Catholic University, and she's a researcher, nutritional researcher, very active. Yep. Also, we have here Esteban from the Young Chapter. He's working right now in food loss and waste, and he not just working with the ripe for a business, ripe fruit for a business. He's also promoting the first law of the country for food loss and production. And also we have indigenous young woman, Sairi, here, that is part of trying to conserve the best indigenous practice of Ecuadorian Amazonan best production. And she's also not just contributing at the field level, she's a very active communicator. And very, very keen to really transform the rural Amazonican area. So we have this proof of life of young people that are really contributing to transform the agri-food system in Ecuador, and I'm very happy to be here with all these Ecuadorian amazing young. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. I truly concur with you that some of the challenges in our agri-food systems are very systematic and systemic. And so by conquering some of these systemic challenges, rural development, access to digitization and the likes, financial services, if we are able to conquer some of these systemic challenges, young people will not be enticed to get into agriculture. They will actually want to go there themselves. So we really do concur with you on that. And the same question is asked to you, Kensa, that if young people also in Bhutan and Nepal are going through different challenges, but what are some of the interventions that the FAO country office is putting in place to ensure that the engagement is also systemic, but also meaningful to them?
Okay, so let me just start with a very brief context of these two countries. In the Hindu Kush Himalaya region, landlocked countries, also very vulnerable to the impacts of the triple planetary crisis, climate change, loss of biodiversity, environmental pollution. Also, agriculture production systems are very much subsistence-based, not a lot of mechanization, and also difficulty in kind of reaching economies of scale, and also tough competition from countries like India. Also there are issues such as urbanization, human-wildlife conflict, and also migration of young people from rural to urban areas, and also out-migration. And both of these countries have a very substantive youth population. So in this context, youth mobilization and leadership in agri-food system transformation is very important. So you asked me the question, what is the FAO country office is doing? I'm actually pleased to say it is not the FAO country office that is leading youth action in both of these countries. It is actually the World Food Forum local chapters for both Bhutan and Nepal that are actually leading all youth related interventions. I'm really pleased to share that for Nepal, the World Food Forum Nepal chapter was actually launched last year at this very forum, and since then the World Food Forum Nepal chapter has been very active, first in establishing provincial youth teams in all 7 provinces of Nepal, and they are routinely, I would say on a daily basis, conducting a variety of symposiums, awareness campaigns on SDGs, on international days related to agri-food systems transformation. Also a lot of partnerships and engagements with various youth organizations in the country, making sure that there is no fragmentation of youth organizations. So the World Food Forum Nepal chapter is kind of serving as a platform to make sure that there's convergence and coordination between the various youth organizations. And this also, I'm also proud to say, in September, 10th of September this year, for the first time, with really the strong leadership of the World Food Forum Nepal chapter, we organized the Nepal Food Forum, which is basically the country-level version of the World Food Forum, where we brought together elements of youth action, agricultural investment, catalyzation and mobilization, and science and innovation, and we were very happy to have Victor as a special guest. So this is what is happening in Nepal, and there is more coming, and I'm also happy to see a lot of the youth chapter leaders participating in this event, but also they have been very active in leading a lot of these side events that I think that took place this week. Now, Bhutan is not at all catching up very quickly. Bhutan, World Food Forum Bhutan chapter was launched in August in conjunction with International Youth Day, and already a series of activities are taking place. One is a collaboration with the Kanazawa Institute of Technology in Keio University in developing an SDG card game contextualized for Bhutan. So this is basically a gamification for sensitization and agri-food system transformation. I also wanted to add that both countries are actually implementing agri-innovation incubation-related activities. Both countries took part in national level agri-innovation incubation competition and challenge in partnership with UNDP, and the 3 top winners from both countries actually participated in a regional level agri-entrepreneurship competition. So the chapters are also very much supporting agri-entrepreneurship and agri-incubation, and I'm also, I just want to end by thanking the World Food Forum for choosing Nepal as one of the first countries outside of Europe to set up the Youth Food Lab, which is basically an agri-incubation center. So, and again, also we have chapter leaders from Bhutan also participating. Both countries also had cultural, I think, booths and exhibitions during the forum. So I'm very happy to say that these chapters are leading the way for for us. Thank you so much.
Amazing. And just to close us off with 1 minute, I know a lot has been said about the challenges, about how the interventions are being taken place, but what do you think we can do further? What do you think the FAO country office can do further in supporting World Food Forum national chapters and also supporting local youth action? You are here because you are already champions and your country offices are leading from the front on these aspects, but what can we do further in these aspects? I think we'll start with you, Kensa, and head over to our left.
Okay, well, I'm not sure whether I have, a Victor or Kazuki seal of approval, but what I'm actually encouraging is for these two, in both countries, the chapters to be independent, to be, registered as, I know, of course, the World Food Forum chapters are meant to be kind of these independent youth networks, but what I'm really recommending is to have both chapters really registered as an independent civil society organization in both countries. And the reason that I say that is that maybe my fellow FAORs would agree with me that if an FAO country office is interested in engaging in, for example, formal partnerships with the private sector, there's a lot of processes that we have to go through, whereas the youth chapters there's much more agility, flexibility, and creativity in innovation that they can harness if they are kind of released and made independent. So that is at least what I'm encouraging. Thank you so much.
The same question to Ms. Gerda.
Thank you. Well, I think youth inclusion is a responsibility of everybody. We need a coalition, not just a national coalition, as my colleagues said. It's an opportunity also for South-South cooperation. It's an opportunity to exchange best practice. We need to do everything with available mechanisms to really work in this big challenge, because youth inclusion is not something easy to do. Of course, I think it's not just a responsibility for us. I think the most important is to put this strong young leadership and voices in the front, because I think they are not just, they are part of the solution. I think they already have solutions for the food system. They already have the solution, the young people. But we need to put in the front of the policy dialogue, in the front of the innovation, and then of the financial, of course. I think the most important also is the financial, that really financial mechanism understand the young proposal, the young business. I think, and I invite everybody, I think everybody here in this room are absolutely convinced that this is the way to do it. We need to work together and raise all these strong leadership voices in this room.
Amazing, thank you so much.
Thank you. I should also mention that we came from Uganda with a number over 15 young Ugandans that are also taking part of this important forum. We strongly believe that by working with the youth, I believe in their independence, and we want you to come to the table with the concrete proposals. Time to talk is over. Now it's time for action. So use your creativity, use your innovation for us to find ways for us to support you, but based on your ideas, based on things that you strongly believe that you can succeed. The role of FAO at the country level, particularly in Uganda, is to see how then as we design our programs, we are intentional in terms of ensure that the design of all our projects and our programs really take into account the challenge that we have when it comes to the youth population. Uganda is the second youngest nation in the world, by the way. And with over 70% are young people below the age of 30. So unless the design of our programs are intentional in terms of targeting this group, we will miss the opportunity in terms of supporting and creating spaces for you to find in agriculture the opportunities that we believe. It's not only crop, it's not only livestock, it's also about fisheries, but all in between, from the farm all the way to the market, the opportunities are there. So don't think in agriculture just digging, but look to entire value chain from the farm all the way to our plates and to the disposal. There are opportunities for us to support, and I believe that our programs at the country level can and should do better going forward.
Thank you so much. A round of applause to our very able panelists. Yeah, indeed, we do agree that time to talk is over. It's time for action. Just following what you have said, thank you so much. Another round of applause. Thank you so much.
And a round of applause for our wonderful moderator, Victor. Now, in a minute, Victor, we have a surprise for the people. However, before we get there, our Ecuadorian representative mentioned some young people in the crowd, and I want to make sure they get their due celebration. So if y'all could stand or wave a little bit so that people know who we're clapping for, let's give it up for the young leaders in the room. Thank you for your local action in the agri-food system. We can't wait to follow your work.
Amazing. And now let's take a very short breather to appreciate the global cultural diversity that enriches our agri-food systems. So each region has and brings its own very unique traditions, brings its own very unique cultures to how food is produced, to how food is shared, but also how food is celebrated. And to depict this, we'll be treated to some performances, blending the rich tapestry, showcasing that while we can be very, very diverse, I think we are all very diverse, we can all have unity of purpose, we can also have unity in diversity.
That's right, we are all in for a treat, so please help me welcome to the stage Indriha and Pramutiha from the Unbiha dancers of Indonesia, Mariano and Racia, tango dancers from Argentina, as well as David and Bingwa coming from the Okwa Maziko group of dancers from Gabon.
A round of applause. What a beautiful celebration of culture. And so let's give it up once more for our amazing dancers. Also, I don't know about you, but for me, I think I need a little more practice to be able to do.
I think we got this. We could do a little.
We'll try afterwards, after this.
I think we could do a great job. But even more, I like that these dancers didn't just travel from across the globe to be here. They took us on a global tour with them. So once again, even though they're not on the stage anymore, let's give it up one more time for our dancers.
Amazing, and I think from this top-notch start, I think we will continue and switch gears here now. So for the keynote remarks, we have the privilege to have and hear from one of the world's leading experts on agri-food systems, Miss Corina Hawkes, a champion for the youth. Corina has throughout her career been at the forefront of global efforts to reform agri-food systems to make them more sustainable, to make them more resilient, and also to make them more productive. So we couldn't have a better keynote speaker for this keynote remarks other than Corina Hawkes. So without further ado, help me welcome Corina Hawkes, the Director of the Agri-Food Systems Division and Food Safety Division, here at FAO. Welcome to stage and take it away.
Very much. And thank you. Wow, it's not often one gets to smile so much on an afternoon. Normally I'm at my desk or in a meeting. They were just amazing, weren't they? Incredible. And what artists? There's an expression about working in systems, and it's about dancing in systems, the idea that when we're working in this complex space where all of these interconnections, all of these different pieces, that the only way to deal with them is to dance. So I think I need to learn from those amazing dance moves. Wonderfully inspiring. But look, we know what our mission is here. It's to build these efficient, inclusive, sustainable and resilient agri-food systems that can address such core challenges of our time and to achieve good food for today and tomorrow. And for FAO, as you know, that's better production, better nutrition, better environment and a better life, leaving no one behind. And on the fourth day of the World Food Forum, it should go without saying, everybody's been saying it, that youth involvement will not just be fundamental to this change, not just as the leaders of tomorrow, but the change agents of today. That's been said a lot, but one of the takeaways I've had from being at various events is that the message that I'm hearing from the young people I've been speaking to is the importance of this intergenerational effort. I'm a woman working in a field that sometimes is dominated by men, and that's no problem. I love all of my colleagues. But sometimes I know what it feels like a little bit to be set up and expected to do something. They call it the glass cliff. And that sometimes you're not set up to succeed. We mustn't do that to youth. We mustn't say, you're young, you're dynamic. We must say that, because you are. Innovative and creative, you are. But without setting you up to succeed. That intergenerational piece, there was a remark made at an event I was at earlier today, that we need to make sure that we are opening up those pathways for you to follow. And that we are accountable, and you hold us accountable, and our accountability mechanisms for making sure that that happens. So that's been a real key message for me in the last few days. But I'm really delighted to see the establishment of the World Food Forum National Youth Chapters as these self-organized national platforms that bring together young people to collaborate with local networks, with FAO country offices, thank you for my fantastic FAO colleagues there, and relevant governments, and with adults to implement youth-led initiatives and mobilize local action. I think it's so important to connect what we're hearing here at the global level with local realities. There's so many universal truths. Like when we see that dancing and we see the tremendous diversity, but somehow the connection through artistry, and you see that universality. So we knew that there were these universalities. We know that there needs to be global solidarity. We know that there needs to be international cooperation. but we also know that when it comes to actually implementing action, it needs to be profoundly localized, taking into account the multiplicity of local realities and systems, adapting and localizing these global frameworks, universal principles, to fit those specific needs and challenges of the countries, and indeed within countries. And it's also important for those learnings on the ground to come up to the global level so that we can understand better what is going on the ground, synthesize that, share it, but also tease out the patterns that we see so we can better understand the changes that are happening everywhere that we really need to be aware of, and then work out what we need to do to support it. So it's this localized action on the ground which is going to add up to global change. And we need that close understanding of what's going on at the local and national level. So these national chapters really are an incredible opportunity to bring the local to the global to the local, but also to bring different parts of the agri-food system together. In the agri-food, in FAO, we advocate for a systems approach, moving out of silos into systems, moving from fragmentation to connection. And this is the problem that we have got too embedded in as adults, is working in these silos and feeling good about what we're doing and trying as hard as we can, but not making the connections we need to make. So that's really the promise, I think, that young people can bring, is to take this more holistic, integrated approach by working together. And this is surely such the power of these national chapters, by bringing people together from different parts of the system. Now, when you get to my age, and I have to say I'm young at heart, I like to think that I'm even a decade older than the minister who shared his age, so I'm able to say that. And when you get to this age, I have to say, you kind of look back and you kind of, well, I do anyway, look at where you've failed, look at where you've tried to do something that seemed like a good idea at the time, but it just didn't work. And you have to ask yourselves, why didn't it work? What mistakes did we make? What were the issues that we didn't consider that we should have considered? And I just wanted to share very briefly 8 lessons, 8 steps that I would have taken to everything I'd ever done had I known better. I think one of the important roles that we can play in this intergenerational dialogue is to make sure that adults are honest about the mistakes that we have made, and we are sharing those lessons so that those lessons do not need to be repeated again and again and again. Because there is value, of course, in experience and having tried to do some things. So I think the first, when you're bringing together a group of people from across the agri-food system, first of all, make sure that you have set a clear direction. Make sure that there is a shared sense of vision to all of the people in that room. And that can be quite a high-level vision, but sometimes it seems it's obvious, oh yes, we all want the same thing, we all want a sustainable food system, but sometimes you really need to talk that through, really to formulate really what it is that you have in common and where some of the differences might lie. Second, seek knowledge about how that system is functioning. What are the real main challenges in that system? Where is it working well? And not just in one part of the system, but across the system, because this is all essentially about moving from this isolated, discrete approach to this more holistic approach. And then you have to prioritize where are the main entry points that I can really, really make a difference, rather than just saying, well, you know, let's work here and there and let's work everywhere, let's try and do everything. Where are the entry points, the priority entry points? Fourth, seek knowledge of the interconnections of the system, because it's by understanding the connection between the problems that you see and really how is it connected to the deep systemic issues, rather than just what apparently might be causing it. What's really the interconnected underlying causes, but also what might be some of the co-benefits you can create, and what are some of the unintended consequences that you might want to avoid. That's all a matter of understanding the connections of the system. Fifth, jointly plan collective action. I've heard the word collective action a lot in the last few days. Absolutely right. But when you're taking collective action, you need to be super clear who is doing what, and you need to plan that and have a good plan. Know who's going to do what, align in the same direction, and see how it all fits together. 6, and this has been mentioned already, is around the importance of generating resources, financial and human capacity resources, for all of these actions to work together and get the people who've got the money and resources on your side to understand, look, guys, I don't want you to get us to compete with each other. So you're funding this and we're all going to start competing for resources. You need to actually fund across this, so you're funding us as a system. 7, implement. And as you're implementing or work with implementation partners, do that in an explicitly joined up way. That means you need to stay communicating, you need to stay coordinating, stay collaborating, and stay cooperating with each other. And that means you need to be really good at building relationships. And 8th, you need to monitor and learn by doing, constantly monitoring to see how what you're doing is making change. So there are 8 simple steps. They sound simple, but when you do them in practice, they really do take intentional effort. But I guess my message is that working in systems, it can be done, it can be possible with some quite simple steps. But they are steps that many people have not taken in the past, and that has led to the action not accruing to the impact that we want to have. So Les, youth are indeed the catalysts for transforming our agri-food systems, moving from silos to systems, fragmentation to connection. As you heard from my country-level colleagues, we at FAO and, of course, the World Food Forum are committed to supporting this. Hold us accountable. Don't let us off the hook. Make sure that you're getting the mentorship, getting the training, learning the lessons from us that you need. And we look forward to working closely with you in these national chapters, in this exciting new chapter, as you've moved forward to plan and take action for real change in agri-food systems. Thank you very much.
Corinna, again, thank you so much for your leadership and those thought-provoking reflections. Now it is time for us to hear directly from the youth themselves, the leaders of our World Food Forum national chapters who are running the show in these national youth agri-food programs. These young leaders are on the front lines of change, convening and synergizing youth efforts for context-specific activities, transforming their communities, cities, and countries.
Moderating this panel is Valentina Morales, FAO Regional Youth Focal Point for Latin America and the Caribbean. And so welcome on stage, Ms. Valentina. The floor is all yours.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So, hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here, and this session is very incredible, and I have the difficult challenge to keep the energy, so I'm going to start saying my name is Valentina, I'm from Chile, I'm Chilean, and I'm 29 years old. In some countries I'm still young, but in other ones I'm not that young, but I have the honor to present our panelists, they are young people from around the world. So please come to the stage, Clara from Indonesia. Un aplauso. Also Caitlin from Ireland. Alberta from Ghana. Also, Abdullah Rahman from Qatar. Where are you? There you are. And Gabriel from Brazil. Where is he? Gabriel? Ah, there he is. So, we have a very interesting panel. We have prepared some questions that we think that is very important to share in this space, to have more ideas and inspiration to go to and take action at a local level, at national level. So I'm going to start with Clara from Indonesia. We have prepared a question for you, Clara. So we know that the Indonesian government and youth are working really, really closely. So we want to know more about how the recently launch of the national chapter ensures the active participation of young people from all the sectors, from farmers, scientists, and also advocates, in transforming Indonesia's agri-food system. So Clara, you can have the microphone.
Hello? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, moderator, for the questions. Excellencies, leaders, and all ladies and gentlemen. I'm Clara. I'm the director of World Food Forum Indonesia, and it's an honor to stand before you today to represent the youth in Indonesia and Asia Pacific. So our country is deeply rooted in the traditional wisdom of Gemah Ripah Loh Jinawi, Toto Tentrem Kerto Raharjo. It is a vision of an exquisite, fertile, and peaceful land with a prosperous society. So yeah, the concept of Gemah Ripah Loh Jinawi itself, it portrays an abundant food supply through the sustainable use of land, while Toto Tentrem Kerto Raharjo reflects the societal well-being that comes from a fair access to good food. And all of this only can be achieved through equality and harmony as taught by our ancestors through Trihita Karana. It is emphasizes the true prosperity arises from the harmonious relationship between God, human, and nature. So, Indonesia itself is one of the largest archipelago country, stretched between the Pacific and Indian Oceans, with over 17,000 islands and 1,300 tribes. So, it shapes its unique agri-food system and agricultural practices, presenting both strengths and challenges in transforming our agri-food system. As what the bold commitment that our government has made, it outlined on the Presidential Decree number 18, 2020, which prioritizes agri-food system transformation in the midterm development plan until 2024. And furthermore, in Bali 2022, Indonesia also has shown its leadership among the G20 countries to shape policy recommendation and on economic impact of food security. So the government itself are not just speaking; it's more than just words. So on several weeks ago, on 2nd October 2024, the World Food Forum Indonesia was officially launched by the Presidential Staff of Office, Presidential Chief of Staff, with representative from FAO Indonesia office, various ministry, especially economic affairs, and also National Food Agency in attendance. So we are honored by this positive first step and committed to sustain this collaborative spirit. As we have officially become a youth-led initiative that brings together youth in agri-food system from diverse regions and backgrounds across the country. Hence, we have launched a nationwide youth survey to gather perspective of youth Indonesia. So we got representative from 38 provinces in Indonesia that have taken part to identify the main obstacles and potential solutions for creating a youth-led platform that accurately reflects every element of the society. Many pointed out the need of increasing knowledge and developing capacity, but there were also issues brought up, especially a lack of clear food policy, limited access to sustainable agricultural practices, and lack of support for local farmers and youth. So based on valuable insights gathered from talented Indonesian youth, we have developed a concrete and actionable strategy, and we'll divide it into three main variables of our national chapter. The first one is our structure. So at the national level itself, we are dedicated to ensuring inclusivity among our board and officials by focusing on two key areas. The first one is we are dedicated to have representation from all regions in Indonesia and representation from youth diverse roles within the agri-food sectors, including practitioners like young scientists, we have it, farmers, also advocates, local communities and students. And locally, our goal is also establishing a sub-chapter, university sub-chapter in 5 major islands in Indonesia. So each major island will have at least one sub-chapter serving as our key partners in advancing this mission with more concrete and on-the-ground level. So The second aspect is the action. We are committed to expand awareness across regions and reaching more youth, particularly those from traditional and local communities, when we will collaborate with University Subchapter itself to implement Village Focus Program, which aligns with the spirit of For Betters and the goal of leaving no one behind. So we are leveraging the enthusiasm and dedication of them to foster meaningful community progress. And then the second action we will have is launching a virtual education initiative called Indonesia Food Academy, and encouraging the government and key stakeholders to provide support in shaping a comprehensive curriculum from land to plate, focused on sustainable and modern agri-food system. And then the third and the last aspect is the advocacy. We will continuing fostering dialogue among all youth and relevant stakeholders in Indonesia, particularly through organizing the Indonesia Food Symposium. This national platform aims to inspire various parties, including the government, to actively listen and engage with youth voices. And we also commit to sending a representative to WFF flagship event to allow us to demonstrate our dedication, gain lessons learned from global leaders, and strategize our future intergenerational collaboration. And as youth, we are the stewards of Indonesia's future. And the inclusivity of World Food Forum Indonesia will be proven by building a future where every community contributes and gets benefits from a sustainable, equitable, and resilient agri-food system. And we are dedicated to fostering this inclusivity for a better food system for Indonesia, for world, for today, and for tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Clara. I'm very impressed for all the work that you're doing, that you are all doing in Indonesia, the dedication and commitment that you're showing us. And I know that you represent a lot of people from your country. And I think it's very special when you talk about the different sectors of youth that you include in your chapter. That's very important because we have rural youth, we have indigenous rural youth, or we have Afro-descendant youth. We see that in Latin America, like a lot of types of youth, you want to say. So it's very important that in this chapter you're considering that thing. So thank you very much for that. And also the strong support from the government. I'm very, very impressed. Congratulations for all your work. And now I want to ask a question for Caitlin from Ireland. We know that the national chapter in Ireland began like casual, like organic conversations among young agri-professionals. But also we know that now you have a strong support from the government of Ireland. We have seen it in the World Food Forum. So the question is that if you can share with us here in the room how those discussions became a fully established platform for youth in Ireland.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Valentina, and hello, everybody. I'm Caitlin Breen. I'm a member of Ireland's National Chapter of the World Food Forum. So as Valentina said, Ireland's National Chapter began quite organically. Our government selected a number of young people working in the agri-food sector to attend the World Food Forum last year and the year before. During the World Food Forum last year, we had many conversations, and we kind of determined that there wasn't a space in Ireland for young agri-food professionals to connect and to communicate. And we identified that this space was needed, a place to connect and communicate our vision for the food system in Ireland with our policymakers, and to do this in a strategic way. So these conversations led to the establishment of our national chapter of the World Food Forum, or the National Youth Food Forum, as we call it in Ireland. The vision for this is exactly as I mentioned there, a platform for young agri-food professionals to come together and to communicate and to connect with each other and to network and to communicate our vision with our policymakers. So we saw that in Ireland there are plenty of spaces for farmers to come together, there are conferences for researchers to come together, and there are networking spaces for young people working in the private sector. But we saw that there was a need for specifically young people in the agri-food sector. Our aim was to get a diverse range of people in a room together to discuss the future of our food system. And importantly, as I said, to communicate this with our policymakers. Fortunately, as Valentina mentioned, this came at a perfect time because our government wanted to hear these voices and support this initiative. Like many countries, Ireland has an agri-food strategy, and ours is titled Food Vision 2030. This strategy highlights a range of goals and targets for our agri-food system for the next 6 years. And one of the targets in this strategy is to engage with young people and through generational renewal, support the involvement of the next generation in the sector. So we came together and with an organisation that supported us, the Irish Forum for International Agricultural Development, and with our government, specifically our Department of Agriculture, Food and the Marine, we proposed the concept of the National Youth Food Forum. Our government was supportive in a number of ways. As I mentioned, generational renewal is a strategic priority for Ireland's government. So the government supported us both, yes, with financial resources, but also in other ways. The government supported us through helping to promote our events and by engaging government ministers and officials to address and to speak directly with our young people at our events. With the support, we hosted an online launch of the National Youth Food Forum, our national chapter. Next, we organised our first in-person event. To do this, we reached out to all of our universities, each member of the National Youth Food Forum, our workplaces, to farmers' organisations, to youth organisations, and to many more. This event was a great success, and we went on to organise another. Both of these events held several key components. Each featured a guest speaker from somebody relevant to our field. This was followed by a discussion session where we asked questions to the attendees about their vision for the Irish food system. Additionally, there was an interactive element. So this was a farm tour in the first event, and in the second event, it was a tour of a food research facility. So this gave the attendees a chance to learn, but also to share their own perspectives and to connect with each other in a meaningful way. The answers to the questions that we asked the attendees were then collected, and they formed the data that we will pass on to our government as part of a strategic document. And I was glad to hear Karina Hawke speak because some of these points, I think, fall under her 8 steps. So I'm glad to see we're on the right track in that sense. So building on those 2 events, we then put together our first ever National Youth Food Summit. This was a bit different to our first 2 events because this event was a commitment made by our government in the agri-food strategy. They committed to running a youth summit, and they trusted us with putting together this event. So another example of where the government had already committed to engaging youth, and the National Youth Food Forum was a good tool to use in order to do this. This event brought together young people. Yeah.
If you can,
speed up, yes. So
a little bit.
This event brought together about 500 young people. It was almost like a small-scale youth World Food Forum in Ireland. And so that brings us to today, to September. The only other thing I was going to mention was similar to what the Indonesian chapter said. We did aim to be inclusive. So we wanted a room where farmers sat next to chefs, to food journalists, to retailers. And so for an example of how we did that was, if we noticed at one point that there was no representation from the fisheries sector. So a member of our team reached out to that sector and got the names and the contacts of specific young people in that sector who we then invited to our next event. So we wanted to make sure that the voices that needed to be heard were present in the room. So with the support of the World Food Forum, we're now moving forward, and we aim to continue to do this work and to engage with our growing team. Thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin. I know we all have much more to say, so thank you for sharing this with us. It's very important if you take your time, so it's fine, don't worry. So I'm not going to speak so much because I know that we have 3 more young people that want to speak, but I want to just highlight one thing that you said, that was the renewal of the new generations, because one day we are all going to be old, the hours that are sitting here, so we need to work also in the next generation, so thank you. And now I have a question for Alberta from Ghana. Alberta, we know that the Ghana National Chapter has been actively engaging youth and smallholder farmers to create more inclusive agri-food system. So, can you share some key strategies and partnerships that have driven these efforts? So key strategies, so we all can go to our homes and think about like 4 or 3 things that you can share.
All right, thank you so much, and I'm happy to be here representing the Ghana chapter. I think that, everything that is to do with agriculture fills us with a lot of passion and power and fulfillment. So if you give us this platform, we can go on and on and on and on. But I think in Ghana, we had already started something, put in place a mission to work with smallholder farmers, women, and the youth. And so becoming a part of the World Food Forum rather strengthened our efforts. And what we've been doing recently is to leverage on partnerships with the governments, with the private, to increase our visibility, value, and acceptance. And I think it's been very good for us, and the impact has been very strong. So I will share with you 3 models of success that has worked. I think one key one is, okay, let me share the recent one, working on the International Youth Day, where we focused on one of the senior high schools. And I think the impact was great. We gave them the platform just like what you've given us, to have that dialogue, to have that conversation amongst them, and to also support in shaping their mindset, which is very critical in attracting and driving you towards appreciating the opportunities within the value chain when it comes to agriculture. And I think it was very valuable, and at the end of the day, we have even been invited to establish a student chapter of the World Food Forum. So it's a strong pronouncement to the fact that when the young ones, or when we are given the platform like this, we can demonstrate beyond reasonable doubts that we can contribute meaningfully to the food systems and also to building sustainable farmers. Also, one key area that we worked on, there is a key program in Ghana called the Agri Student Career Guidance and Mentorship Dialogue Bootcamp. It's a bootcamp which has been running for the last 7 years that brings students from all over the country together. Ghana has 16 regions. So it brings all the beginner agribusinesses, the students together and all that. And we, as the chapter, had the privilege and opportunity to lead one of the critical sessions, that's the concept development and business development, business management session for these over 400 youth. And I tell you what, it's been tremendously amazing. I think out of this, we've been able to really drive the youth to appreciate the fact that they have a strong grounds when it comes to contributing to growth, sustainability, and improvements. And also the last one is our involvement with farmers with disabilities. I think we've been working, and it's towards our inclusivity drive, and we've been working a lot with farmers with disabilities. And just yesterday, it was just surprising that just yesterday, one of the beneficiaries of those sessions that we held in the Bono region of Ghana, just 36-year-old woman, she's a mango farmer. She said, look, this session has really been great for us, and out of this, I'm able to even buy stationery for my kids. So it indicates that local approaches are working, and so we thank the World Food Forum for giving us this platform, for getting us to be part of this family, and we are dedicated to supporting its growth, and most importantly, making impact to ensure that we're able to build sustainable farmers, and we, the youth, are able to contribute meaningfully to growth. And I think that it's also demonstrate that indeed we, the youth, are the seed and soul of agriculture. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Alberta. Thanks. It's impressive to see all the power that the youth have in these national chapters. I'm very impressed. So now I have the question for Abdul Rahman. How the national chapter in Qatar supports youth solution to addressing food security challenge in the arid climates in Near East and North Africa regions. So go ahead. You can have my microphone. But I will have to...
Yeah, no problem. Okay, hello everyone. I'll keep it brief since we stole your time at this point. But I just wanted to start off with a book I read a few years ago, which is Looking Through the Language Mirror by Guy Ducha, which is a German author. And he emphasizes that through different languages, you feel different things, and language and perception can affect each other. and to just give 2 sentences to start off in Arabic to welcome you all and greet you all. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اسمي عبد الرحمن خالد الكواري من جامعة الدوحة للعلوم والتكنولوجيا، وأودي أشكر جميع الأعضاء من الدول العالم خاصة الدول العربية باشتراكهم في المنظمة للفاو. And that's just to keep it brief, that's all. And I'd like to recognize all you leaders from across the world and all your hard work. And this is it's been maybe 2 to 3 months of me being a leader. And so I feel extreme responsibility, and what a leader should be is emphasizing, and when he makes mistakes, he owns up to it. And I don't want to take too much of your time. So I would like to acknowledge the WFF flagship event for this amazing opportunity for Qatar to share its national chapter. And it's our first chapter, and this is our first year, and we would like to make you proud. And maybe in the future, you benefit from us, you know. And I wanted to speak about youth and agriculture. One important aspect Kazuki mentioned a few days ago during our meeting with him was there should be a collaboration between youth and adults. And this can only work through that collaboration. And I appreciate all the adults that are here to hear our voices, because without you, we speak into an empty void. And so I would like to thank all the elderly or adults that are here for collaborating with us, and therefore we can find a solution together. And just to speak about our university, we have the Arab Youth Competition and the National Symposium in 2025, which is on February. And this event, I feel like, is the spark for us to continue in the future towards agriculture and innovation for Qatar. And maybe it sparks to different GCC regions. And maybe this aligns with the goal of the UN of zero hunger. And just to conclude, because of time, I would like to thank you all and thank FAO as well. Thank you.
So I'm going to talk in Spanish now. Voy a presentar a nuestro siguiente invitado. Yo sé que entiende el español, so I'm going to present our next guest. This is Gabriel from Brazil. He's going to share with us some insights from the national chapter. So Gabriel, with Latin America and the Caribbean being one of the world's largest fruit producers, yet is still facing food insecurity. How is the young people from Brazil and across all Latin America are stepping up to bridge this gap?
Testing, yeah, very well. So something that I, with the national chapter and also the YES Association we've been working on, is to bring the universities closer to the problems, to the companies, and bringing these, like going to the core on where the youth are located and presenting them the necessities of the world, showing them that the world needs them. So this is one of the main approaches that we have been doing in Brazil, reaching the leaders in their classroom while they're being formed to give them options. Because this is something that the youth in Brazil needs the most, to know the needs, to know that they have the capability of doing that. So this is one of our main approaches. And another one is the institutions that give education to small farms, to the farmers who produce less, but they are in a huge number in Brazil. So with their help, we can educate the youth. We can bring youth to the field to learn there and to present their ideas directly to the farmers. So in this matter, I'm very proud with my country that they are putting youth exactly where, like opening doors for youth and listening to them more and more. So And the one last thing that's bringing youth to the field is the precision agriculture in Brazil, which has been amazing how youth get engaged with technology and how much the older farmers, the elders, they ask for help and they want to learn from them, their enthusiasm and their innovation. So these are some main approaches that we have been doing in the national chapters in Brazil.
Thank you very much, Gabriel. So a big round of applause for all the panelists here. Thank you very much for sharing your experience and your work in national chapters, and I'm very happy to be part of this. So thank you very much, and another aplauso, por favor.
Great. Thank you so much. So much has happened in a year. Thank you to our national youth leaders for spearheading our new national chapters. If you have any questions for our national chapter leaders, you now know who they are. Do not hesitate to reach out to them. Moving right along. For our next session, we are honored to have Ms. Lebo Boshaleng, the Chief Director of Sector Capacity Development at South Africa's Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development.
Ms. Boshaleng is a champion of the youth and has been very instrumental in advancing youth empowerment across South Africa's agri-food sector. Ms. Boshaleng, we look forward to your very good reflections and to today's discussion. The floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Ose and Victor. I acknowledge the presence of Honorable Minister from Bhutan. I acknowledge all the country representatives that are here, and Corina, of course, for hosting us here. I will be very short. I've been requested just to reflect, particularly with the World Food Forum now transiting or moving on to youth-specific national chapters. And we cannot, given the discussions that have gone through this afternoon or this evening, it is clear that it is time now for youth to take over. In the country where I come from, the youth there has got a slogan that says, "Nothing for us without us." And I think we have reached that stage that now we will do nothing for youth without them. I will just quickly go through our experience in South Africa and as far as our attempt to want and establish our youth national chapter. And we cannot talk about any network at a country level and not take into consideration the triangle between the World Food Forum itself, the decentralized FAO country office in your specific country, and of course government. What we have done in South Africa is that we recognize that it's not like because now we are transforming food systems, it means there's been nothing happening at a country level. So the first step that we did was to do stock taking of the already existing networks at a country level, so that when we now bring in the national youth chapter, we are able to integrate and not bring this other new structure that might unintentionally bring tension at a country level. So that's what we have done. And I went through the objectives of this session, and one of those is integrating gender inequality. I can tell you that in most of the existing, formerly existing networks, you would find that women and other designated groups will not form part of such. So that is one of our intention, that there should be a balance between young women and young men that will form such a structure. I will not re-emphasize the 8 points that Corina has spoken of, that if there is no vision, we may gather as many, we may come here and even share statistics of our national chapters. But if they do not know why they've been gathered or what is the intention around them. So we have developed what we call terms of reference that says this what will distinguish the World Food Forum Youth Chapter from the rest of the other networks at the country level, to say, here we are wanting to achieve resilient, sustainable food systems. And this will be our focus at a country level, combining that with country priorities or government priorities. And we've been working with the World Food Forum here in the headquarters and our decentralized office at a country level in South Africa and government, of course. And our intention, we will be launching the youth chapter very soon. And our intention is, I can't agree more with the speakers that says, let these networks be independent. And another, I think it's Corina again who said, we are at a stage of our lives where we acknowledge our mistakes. To say, I tried this and I bent my fingers, or I thought I had it right, but it wasn't right. One thing that I know that governments sometimes want to get married to these structures and own up to them. And the intention, even at the terms of reference level, is to say, we will handhold them for a year, train their executive leadership, and let them go, and so that they can have a voice and have an independent voice even to their priorities, or even if something is not done right, they will be able to maintain their independence. So we are very supportive of this initiative of youth chapters, and we congratulate those countries that have already started theirs. Thank you very much.
And now, moving on to the most exciting part that we've all been waiting for, the celebration of new World Food Forum national chapters.
These new chapters represent the future of agri-food systems transformation. But before we can officially launch them, let's take a moment to watch a special video that showcases the incredible work being done by these emerging leaders.
And now, as we launch these national chapters, help me welcome to stage the Honorable Minister. If you can just come to stage. Thank you so much. Ms. Bosholeng, if you can come to stage. Ms. Corina Hawks, if you're a representative, if you can also join us on stage. And Kazuki Kitaoka, the Global Coordinator of the World Food Forum, if you can also join us on stage. Thank you so much. And now, we know that this year we have already launched 3 national chapters already. So a round of applause to Ireland for the launch of the National Youth Food Forum in collaboration with IFIAD and the Department of Agriculture, Food and Marine. If you can come to stage.
A round of applause for the Kingdom of Bhutan that launched the Bhutan National Chapter in collaboration with the Minister of Agriculture, of Forests, and the Office of Bhutan on International Youth Day. And most recently, a round of applause for Indonesia. Help me represent the Indonesia launch of the National Chapter with the Executive Office of the President and FAO Indonesia.
A round of applause. And now we are also happy to announce the establishment of new chapters in Argentina. Argentina, if you can come to stage. National chapter leader representing Argentina, there she is. If you can receive it. Amazing. Ecuador, if you can come to stage. Amazing. Egypt. Thank you, Mariam. Ghana, if you can come to stage as well. Italy, if you can come to stage as well. Mauritania. Peru as well. And Qatar.
And let's have one round of applause for the entire group that we have up here. Congratulations to our national chapters that have just launched and those that are already established. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. And with that, we have come to the end of our session. Thank you so much all for joining us. The future of agri-food systems is bright with youth at the helm, driving positive change here at the community and the national levels.
We encourage everyone to stay connected to the World Food Forum national chapters to support local initiatives and continue pushing for transformation that we need to build a better food future.
Thank you, and we'll see you at the next World Food Forum event.
If you can go up. If you can just go up to stage and take one photo. Thank you so much.
Recording stopped.